Hello and welcome to another video where I talk about a painting and some aspects of a painting that I did a few months ago. I actually did this painting in January of 2025. It is now close to the end of May 2025, May 22nd, and this video will be posted tomorrow, so May 23rd, 2025. That's for all the people that are watching this way later in time, which is totally cool. Thank you for watching, whenever it is, blah, blah, blah. So this painting was done of a photo of my wife. We were actually in Germany, at the Cologne Cathedral in Germany. If you ever have a chance to go to Germany, I would suggest you really take some time and go to the Cologne Cathedral. It is just magnificent. You know, I've been in big cities. I lived in Chicago for years. I've been in other big cities, big towering monstrosities of buildings, right? And usually now the most modern buildings are very rectangular. They may have some kind of cool modern shapes on them or whatever. But next to a cathedral, a Gothic cathedral that was built like started building thousands of years ago, and just the, and in the inside, I can't even explain it. A sense of awe from a structure made by humans. I'd never felt it before, except with this building. It was just absolutely fantastic. So we were there at night at one point, and we were taking a bunch of photos because it was lit from below. I mean, if you're doing Gothic, you're going to light from below, right? You know, just like any scary movie. But there are columns everywhere, Gothic, all kinds of filigree and statues all over the place and gargoyles and things. It was like, man, it was right out of a movie. It was just absolutely beautiful. Anyway, Cologne Cathedral in Germany. Back to the painting. So I love this picture because, number one, the cathedral is gray and black, or stone, some kind of stone. I can't remember, limestone or something like that. Side note on this, there was something I heard about the cathedral. They would sell you the cathedral for like $100. The entire cathedral, you could buy it for next to nothing, maybe $1,000 or $10,000 or whatever. But the upkeep on the cathedral was like $7 million a year because of the stone it was made up of. They had to constantly rework the statues and everything. It's like constantly under construction. It's like any old house. It's under construction all the time. But the cool thing about this photo was my wife was in this kind of gray coat. It was cold then, with stripes on it. And then the shadows from the cathedral were going up as well. And she was snapping a photo of the cathedral. So everything was gray except for her hands holding the phone and her head and face. And I thought this was a perfect opportunity to practice focus through saturation. So this video is going to be about fundamental concerns of art, just how to make paintings and things like that, things to think about when making a painting. So, paint application, value, color, edges, drawing, blah, blah, blah. Today, saturation, and specifically how to use it to focus your painting or have a center of interest in your painting with saturation. And this one is kind of like right on the nose, right? Where everything else is desaturated. You can even see on my palette, I put a black on there, it was ivory black, and then a Williamsburg gray, I think like a neutral gray 2 or 4. No, it wasn't 2. It was definitely like a 6 or a 4, something like that, and white. 90% of the painting, this is all I used. And that Williamsburg gray paint has a little bit of umber in it. You can see that it goes a little warm, okay? But the only time that I'm touching the red and the ochre that's on my palette is right now, when I'm working on the hands and the head. And this is where I wanted everything to go. There's 2 beats in this painting. There's the hands and then there's a head, boom, boom. This is where we're looking. That's where I wanted your face to go, your eyes to go. Yeah, put your face in the painting just right away. Just headbutt that painting. I wanted your eyes to go right to those 2 spots and that to be the focus. And then eventually look at the rest. But I went a bit further. I even worked on edges here. The only sharp edges you'll find in this entire painting are in my center of interest, which is the face and the hands. That's the only two places. Okay, that's where the lightest light is. That's where the highest saturation is. That's where the sharpest edges are. These are three things that you can use to help focus your painting. But what does that need? I mean, you have to have some idea of what you want your viewers to look at. Whenever you come to a painting, you're like, that's the center of interest. When you can point it out, then you have a direction. Then you can say, you know what? I'm going to gray out everything else. I'm going to neutralize it. What does that mean? To neutralize a color, you take it closer to gray, white or black, or gray, right? Kind of thing. So you can neutralize everything else and have saturation right where your focus is. You can soften everything else, soft edges and sharp edges right where your focus is. You can darken everything else and make really light where your focus is, or vice versa. Sometimes it's a super white painting or light painting and your focus is like the darkest value. That could work too. So it's, that kind of balance, the yin yang of that specifically. I mean, if you look at a yin yang symbol, you got, black on one side with a white dot and then white on the other side with a black dot, right? So similar to something like that. So that's three different things you can use for really directing the eye in your painting. And that's what I did here. Mainly saturation. And it isn't like it's really saturated. Look at the colors on my palette. I mean, the red there and the yellow ochre and the color next to the colors that I mixed up on the palette are, pretty dull comparatively. But compare the lighter are the saturated values, colors that I mixed up with everything else in the painting, and they are the most saturated thing there. So it doesn't have to be like this extreme saturation, right? Here's some close-ups and the finished painting and in a better light, after the photo. The saturation doesn't have to be tremendous. It doesn't have to be right out of the tube cadmium red or right out of the tube super orange or whatever, cadmium orange or cadmium green. It can be just a little saturated, just as long as the separation from everything else is great enough to make that the focus. Like you don't have to hit them on the head with a hammer. You can subtly point them to places. So now what I want to do, let me see if I can do this. Is that it? No, not that one. Here we go into the land of repeating amazingness from OBS. I want to show you some artists that either do or do not do. There is no try, right? They either do or do not do what I was just showing you. So this is, oh my goodness, I've already forgot this artist's name. I need to find the artist's name. I can't show you an artist on here without showing their name. Look, this is my folder full of nothing but art inspiration. Yeah, sometimes it gets to be too much. Okay, so what I'm showing you here is by Henry Mzili Majunga, and I totally butchered that name, I know. Mujunga. Oh, no, not that one. Let's just go back to this. So this is a really good example of hard edges everywhere and tremendous saturation everywhere. But the focus is the difference in coloration, number one. You can see it's probably if I turn this whole thing black and white, the darkest area would be right in the center. And it was intentional that this person put the figure right in the center. Also, we as humans, we focus directly on eyes and heads and figures right away. Like that's the very first thing we'll always go to. And so that's their center of focus. So they did it pretty much opposite. Like there's sharp edges everywhere. Like there is no softness or sharpness that is bringing focus to this. I mean, there's some softness that pushes this background way back, but it's all about the darker value that brings the focus there and the difference in hue. You'll not find this kind of brownish hue anywhere else but in this figure. Another way to show focus. I love this painting. This is Jędrzej Molszewski. Good luck spelling that one, Chris. No, I cannot spell that on my own. And now I have to find Molszewski. Oh my goodness. In the huge array of artists here, I think it starts with a Y, his first name, Jędrzej. If you found it, yell it out. Let me know. Molszewski. Anyway, we'll have to look that up later or whatever. But I love this painting. And Molszewski's just absolutely amazing. I really need to name all of these, the artist and then the name of the piece. Just amazing. But there's not really a central focus within this painting. Maybe this figure in the center. But it's a cacophony of just amazingness. The saturation is over here on the left, but that has just as much balance from all the blues and everything here on the right. It's divided by this ladder. I have no idea what's going on, but I love everything about this painting. It's absolutely gorgeous. I think this is an example of a painting that doesn't have a very specific focus, but and kind of like is showing like you don't have to have a focus in a painting. Like my eye is traveling all through this painting continually. And it's wonderful. It's just like this continuing like circle of movement. That's what my eye is doing. Fantastic. No focus whatsoever. Still an amazing, amazing painting. Nope. I want to go back. No. Maybe I went forward. Okay, this is another one by Molszewski. There it is. There's his name spelled at the top. Malczewski. First name, Jacek. I probably said the name wrong. Anyway, another great example of lack of focus, I think. There's kind of a pointing to this artist here in the far left where all of this is coming out of that, like the canvas. Oh, it looks like the Joker right there. Holy cow. Anyway, fantastic painting. My eye is traveling. And there's just, I mean, a candy store of beauty and faces and figures. And look at this figure in like the perspective. Yeah, I don't, maybe if I'm 100 years old, I'll be half of the artist he is. Just absolutely amazing. Not a lot of focus on this painting, but still gorgeous. So you don't have to have tremendous focus. Let's go into another one. All right, I already showed you this one. So prepared. Oh, Aaron Weisenfield. You spell his name, their name, Wiesenfield. Just beautiful, quiet scenes with lots of focus, using focus through saturation. Also a figure, you know, we're looking directly at a figure. Your eye, when you look at this, there is no other place it goes. You're right there. You are right there. This is a gorgeous painting. So good. Let's go to another Aaron Weisenfield. This one's fantastic. Look how quiet this feels. I think it's probably white and one hue in 99% of this painting. 99.9% of this painting is the same exact color with probably a little bit of white or black. It's mainly monochromatic, and then you pop this little light in there, and then all of a sudden, you know, you have a focus. Like your eye doesn't go anywhere else but that. He is kind of a master at directing you. Here's another one from Weisenfield. Just absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Look how quiet that is. I'm wondering what she's thinking. Like even the line for the lines for the center of the road is not enough to distract away from this teal color and the bike and the sharp edges. Look at the focus on that. Just absolutely beautiful. There's a story that I love, and it's like storybook. It's so beautiful. This is one more by our Aaron Weisenfield. The Yellow Guitar. And it's not even a bright yellow. It's a very kind of dirty yellow, but the shape and everything, that little dark circle right in the middle of the yellow, the like dark on yellow there, just really brings the eye right into the center. It's like, there's the bullseye. This is all I'm looking at. This is where the story is. Don't look anywhere else. That's all you need. Gorgeous. But then there's all this detail, beautiful detail everywhere. Still fantastic. Wonderful example of focus through saturation, Aaron Weisenfeld. This is Edwin Dickinson. Oh, man, so amazing. Let me blow this up. So there's several pieces of focus in here. There's all these lighter areas down at the bottom. There's this, I don't know what this is. She's got her foot down on the bottom right, some kind of vase or something, a bowl down here. But the first thing that our eyes go to is this guy with the lit head. This is a terrible quality image, but I don't need much more quality. I know where the focus is. There's like this triangle thing happening throughout the center. I mean, Frank Frazetta, eat your heart out on this, right? Look at that triangle. Just absolutely gorgeous. This head, the foot down there, and then his whole body on the left. Beautiful focus. I'm all here. And I will go look at different things in the painting, but I always come back to these three heads. Beautiful focus. Beautiful, beautiful focus. Oh, I love this artist, Andrew Salgado, Salgado. Super bright, super saturated everywhere, sharp lines everywhere. Just like Mojongo we looked at earlier. It's pretty much the same. Sharp edges, super bright, but we still have a focus because of, well, why is there a focus here? Well, even though with the Mojongo painting, it was a different hue. Here we have hues blended from the background into the foreground. It's almost flat. It's like Van Gogh paintings. I'm sorry, Van Gogh, all of his paintings are really flat. Everything is brought to the forefront. Just like this, just absolutely gorgeous. I love Van Gogh. I love these paintings. But there's this flatness that happens. He even really pushes that by crushes a can, like a beer can, and tacks it to the canvas or the panel, wherever it's on, to really reinforce the flatness. I'm flattening out everything here, people. The only perspective I feel is maybe with this orange and the line of the counter or table that this person is on. Our focus is based in value, I would say. There is a lot of dark value surrounded by white value here. Also eyes, and nose and mouth and a face. We go right to that as humans. There's a balance that happens within this painting. It's separated by this kind of brown in the background. We have the right side and then the left side, and it's just masterfully broken by this hand. Just, if that wasn't there, I don't think the painting would work. It would be out of balance. We got the lemon over there as well. But here, this is a perfect example of focusing through subject and not worrying about focusing through edges, saturation, and maybe even value. Just subject, just flatten it out. And if you look at all of Van Gogh's works, it'll be the same thing. Very bright, very flat. Oh, it started over. Oh, one last one I wanted to show you. Let me go. This is Alice Neel, Neel. Super bright, super sharp, but still subject matter focus. And even then, I mean, like, my eyes go down here to the bananas and the fruit on the table, things like that. I mean, look how crazy bright all these colors are, but I just can't take my eyes off of their eyes, right? That's where I first go. So let's go back to here and the painting. Where can I go to the end of it? There we go. Okay. So basically, several different ways to bring focus in your painting, but there is an importance to having that focus, to have that direction, not only for yourself as an artist to have a purpose behind the painting, but also to understand your materials enough to determine whether you want to do it or not. So it's kind of like this. I could be completely naive and hit upon these things accidentally and maybe be, a really famous artist because of accidental things. But I bet you, like, that doesn't happen. Very, very, very rarely does that happen. Normally, artists are curious and they try out all these things, like this painting here, where I'm like, ooh, can I bring focus in within saturation? And then they say, I really don't like that. I'm going to do bright everywhere and bring the focus in on the subject matter, just like Alice Neal or Andrew Salgado, right? Or they think, you know what? I love the idea of like atmosphere being neutralized everywhere, and then my central figure having that focus with saturation, just like Aaron Weisenfeld. Beautiful. You can use it anyway, but knowing the aspects and the fundamentals of art through value, saturation, color, edges, things like that, knowing those are wonderful tools to put in your backpack or in your brain or in your art bag so you can take them with you and you can make your paintings even that much better. Anyway, okay. Thank you so much. Hopefully that was helpful. I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.